Good morning. My name is Carlos Joel Santiago Velasquez, and I'm going to be talking about my research project called The Superiority of Online Classes over the Face-to-Face Classes. Here's a summary of my research project. My research project is about superiority of online classes over the face-to-face classes. The reasons for this is that online classes are more flexible and versatile. They can be fitted into the students' schedules. They no longer have to sacrifice time with their families, and they become more skillful with technology. They also have some of the same basic elements that a face-to-face class has to do, like do homework, do class, attend to class, etc. And teachers still need to make a curriculum, give work, promote participation in class, and many other things. With this method of teaching, students can now have access to the material and the internet at all times. They can now take the classes anywhere they like. They have discovered a variety of very useful apps. They have been introduced to the process of digital note-taking, and if they had to miss class for any reason, catching up to everyone else will not be that difficult thanks to class recordings. I have found sites that have done surveys on the subject. One of them said that 70% of students find online classes to be superior to face-to-face classes because they can be fitted more easily within their schedules. I also found a site that clarifies that in online class, you still need to do most of the things that you do in a face-to-face class. And for all these reasons, students would recommend online courses to others. My pre-writing process of this research project. To be honest, this was not going to be the topic of my research paper. My topic was going to be quite the opposite, actually. Face-to-face classes superiority over the online classes. But I had to change it to the one I have now because Google was giving me the opposite of what I actually needed. I spent hours looking for information, but I could not find a lot. So that is why I decided to switch topics. After that, the pre-writing process went a lot more smoothly. I managed to find lots of useful information on the topic, and soon enough, I had all the information I needed to put this research together. I had lots of information from the internet mixed with the things I already knew about the topic. How did I organize my research project and why? For my research, I first looked at the information. When I found something interesting, useful, I saved my sources. After I got the information, I began to figure out how I was going to organize the information and how much I was going to talk about each thing I found. After I got all that, I began to write my research paper. I did this because this was the method I felt the most comfortable using. I have been using it for a long time. It has given me very good results. The most important ideas in my research, and an example of each one, is online classes offer the flexibility and versatility that students look for. Basically, students prefer having not to waste their times of their busy lives going to classes because they can consume much time in their school and it's pretty much from set period of time. But with online classes, they can do much more things. They can do more creative things. They can fit them in their schedules. And also, they can be more flexible with them and take the advantage of them with how much they want. Students can become more skillful with technology. Some students are not very skillful with technology. They don't know what to do with a computer. They pretty much don't know how to use the internet, etc. But with online classes, we have become pretty much forced to be good with technology and get better with it. I know face-to-face classes have tried to implement technology, but it was mostly due to online books. And even some schools even ban the use of technology. They might confiscate your phone away for you to try to use the technology at your advantage. But thanks to online classes, we now have all the access to the material we need. We now have the online books. We can now take notes from our iPads and phones, etc. Students do not need to sacrifice their family time. This is very important because some students actually are parents, or they are just caretakers of their siblings. And sometimes when they have to go to school, they have to find someone who can look out for them. And that can be very difficult when there's nobody that can take care of them, which makes them miss class. But with online classes, they can take the class and at the same time take care of their little kids. Also, online classes help the students get better results. There have been a lot of studies saying that with online classes, students have become a lot more better with their learning, and they also got better grades, and the graduation rates have gone much higher. Which was the best source you encountered and why? The best source I encountered was this one, https upskill.com in person versus online learning statistics /. This was my best source because it offered me a rate of how many students think that online classes are better than face-to-face ones. But one of the reasons that it showed really surprised me. I did not really knew that students could fit their classes into their schedules. That is because every time I took an online course, it felt like a normal class. You could take it in a classroom, but without being surrounded by your classmates or any type of educational environment. But seeing that they could pretty much take them at any time, this site helped me realize how useful and practical online classes can be. Elaborate and answer 2 questions you could like someone knowledgeable on your topic to ask you. How would you prevent the students from exploiting online classes and use the internet to cheat on tests? It is very well known that some students take very much advantage of the online classes. They have used very different methods to cheat on tests, and that way they can go pretty well with the grades. But here's a way I would prevent the students from cheating on tests during online classes. I could have the students in a call and they would have to turn their cameras on. Then I would be able to see what they're doing and check if they're not doing anything suspicious. Also, some apps like Moodle have an option where if the students change tabs during a test or a quiz, the test quiz will automatically close. Is it necessary for all students to take online classes? No, not at all. Not all students are going to find online classes very appealing, but it is an alternative that all educational institutions should offer. They can also add a third option, hybrid classes, for those who want the best of both worlds, like having access to the material and take class from your home and be surrounded by your friends and be inspired by a good educational environment. With these options, educational institutions can now satisfy each of their students' needs. What did you learn from this research? I have definitely learned a lot from this research. I have learned that there are so many different reasons as to why people prefer online classes over the face-to-face ones. Online classes can be very beneficial for the students, and the pros certainly outweigh the cons. Although I am not really one of those students that like online classes more than the face-to-face ones, I can now see the appeal of online classes, and maybe I will consider taking an online class or 2 in the future. Thank you very much.